So none, in the sense, it is a data type which we will use it to represent the absence of the data. It is a group of characters which is enclosed between the quotes. Automatically the system is converting from one data type of the value to another data type. So all the operators has got the same priority. Some of the functions are predefined and it is stored in some place. That is what I will call it as a module. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the third session on data handling, right? So what is that we have discussed in the session 1 and session 2? Let's have a quick recap before I get into the session 3. So hope you have seen the videos of session 1 and 2. So hoping that, let me start the recap of session 1 and session 2. So what is that we have discussed? We have started with the data types. So different data types that we have. What are the different data types that we have? So we have number. So we have the number, and under the category of number, can you all recollect it? So we have int and we have float, we have complex number. So this is what we have under the data type, that is number. So can you all recollect what is that we have under the integer? So we have boolean. So this is what we have discussed in the previous session. Yes or no? Come on guys. So we have the data type called number. So fine, after the number we have the next data type, that is none. Yes or no? Yes, we have none. And the one more important data type that we have discussed in the previous class, that is sequence. That is one of the important data type that we have discussed. So under the category of sequence, can you all tell me what is that we had? So we had string. So what is the first one we had under the sequence? We had string and we had tuples and we had list. So this is what we had under the category of sequence. This is very important for all of you to remember. Then, so what is that you had? So guys, you had sets. What is that you had? You had sets, not there in your syllabus. So guys, the last one we had is mapping. Last one we had is mapping. Under mapping we have data dictionaries. This is what we had discussed in the first session. This will give you the deep knowledge about the different data types that we had. So let's have a quick recap what exactly this data type is all about. So guys, integer in the sense whole number. So boolean in the sense what? Zeros and ones. That's what you have to remember. Float in the sense what? 10.35. So this is what you will call it as a floating point. Yes or no? Complex number in the sense real and imaginary number. Real and imaginary number is what you have to remember. So none, in the sense, it is a data type which we will use it to represent the absence of the data. And then I have sequence. Under the category of sequence we have string. So group of character which is enclosed between the double quotes. Group of characters which is enclosed between the double quotes is what you will call it as a string. For example, A, B, C. Then we have tuples. I had asked you to remember the brackets, right? So why do we use tuples, and what are the brackets that you should remember with respect to tuples? Parenthesis is what you have to remember when it comes to the concept of tuples. So fine. About list, so you will be remembering the square brackets, you will be remembering about the square brackets, and when it comes to the dictionary, so you will remember the flower bracket. This is the quick recap of all the data types what we have discussed in the previous sessions. And also in the second session I have discussed different operators. I discussed different operators. The first one, that is arithmetic operator. So guys, the first one is arithmetic operator. What is the second one that we have? So logical operator. So guys, come on, tell me logical operator. And then we had relational operator. What is the next one that we have? Relational operator. And then we have bitwise operator. So guys, bitwise operator. And the last one is, can you all tell me what is the last one that we had? So we had arithmetic operator, we had logical operator, relational operator, and then bitwise operator, then identity operator. So that is what you have to remember. So this is the different operators that we had discussed in the session 2. This is in the session 2, and this is what we have discussed in the session 1. So this is a quick recap of session 1 and 2. This is what we had discussed in previous sessions. So let's understand what is that I will be discussing in today's session. Guys, I have something called expressions. What exactly this expression is all about and how I will be performing, how I will be dealing with expressions is what I will be discussing. And then the next topic that I have is typecasting. So how do I change one data type to another type is what I will be understanding with typecasting. And the next one that I have is, please understand, this is very important, working with standard library modules. So I have some of the standard library modules I will be discussing. How do I use such a standard libraries? So is what I will be discussing. Especially I will be discussing with respect to the random module as well as the statistics modules. So this is what I will be discussing in today's class. Let me start with the first slide. What is that I have? So I have expressions in the first slide. What is expressions? Please understand the definition. Expressions in the Python is any valid combination of operators. Please remember, it is a valid combinations of operators, literals and variables. Operators, literals and variables. If I consider any expressions, I can have a combination of operators, literals and variables. Let us understand that. So suppose if I have an expression something like this, a is equal to 4 plus b. What is variable? I will call this a as a variable. What is variable here? Can you all recollect? So this is what I will call it as a variable. So this is what I will call it as a literal. This is what I will call it as a literal. So guys, what is this plus? Plus is a operator. Plus is a operator. So guys, variable, literal, operator. Any combination of this is what I will call this as a expressions. I will call this as expressions. Let us understand how many different types of expressions we have in Python. So let's start. We have the 4 different expressions in Python. 4 different expressions in Python. The first one is arithmetic expression. The first one is arithmetic expression. The second one is string expression. Third one is relational expression and logical expressions. We have 4 different types of expression. I will repeat for all of you. Arithmetic expression. Second one is, come on everybody. Second one is string expression, relational expression and logical expression. This is what you have to remember when it comes to the concept of expressions. How exactly, why are you calling it as arithmetic expression? So please understand, I will be using arithmetic operators in my expressions. If I am using the arithmetic operators, what is arithmetic operator? Can you all recollect? So plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus, all these things I will be calling it as a arithmetic operators. If I am using the arithmetic operators in any expression, then I will call that as a arithmetic expression. Suppose if I am using the string in my expression, then I will be calling that as a string expression. So how are you using the string? Can you explain on that? Please observe here. So and is a string. Why are you calling this and as a string, sir? Because it is a group of characters which is enclosed between the quotes. It is a group of characters which is enclosed between the quotes. Please observe that. I'm performing some operation here. So I have plus. Can you tell me why do we use plus here? Can you tell me why do we use plus here? Please observe plus. I have plus and plus, then what will be the result? So this plus is used as a concatenation operation. This is used as a concatenation operation. So you will get the result as like something like this. And then there is no space after and. That is what you have to understand. I'm just adding 2 strings. That is what you have to understand. In the same way, I'm using this and star 2. 2 times and will be printed. So if I execute that statement, my result will be like this. So this is how I'll be getting the output if I execute this statement. That is what you have to understand. So this is what I will call it as a string expression. Why? Because I'm using the string here in my expression. That's the thing that you have to remember. So what is the next one that you have? You have relational expression. What is the next one you have? Relational expression. If you are using the relational operators in any expression, then I will call that as relational expressions. Can you recollect what are the relational operators that we have? So we have greater than, we have less than, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to, equal to, and not equal to. So guys, if I am using these operators in my expressions, then I will be calling it as a relational expressions, is what you have to understand. Please observe here, that's what I have used here. But it will be giving me the result in the form of true or false. The result, if I am using in the relational expressions, the result will be in the form of true or false. That is what you have to understand. So moving on to the last one is logical expression. What is logical operators? Can you all recollect? So we have and. This is what we call it as a and. So do we write like this? No, we don't write like this. So guys, instead of that, we use and or not. So this is the logical operators. And or not is the logical operators. If I am using the logical operators in my expression, then I will call that expression as logical expressions. So these are the different expressions that I have in Python. So moving on to the next one, I'll be discussing that in detail. So when it comes to the arithmetic expression, how exactly the evaluation will happen, let us understand that one by one. You all know about this, but I would like to explain that step by step. Let's understand what exactly the first point says to all of you. So evaluate each of its operands or arguments. So guys, whatever the operands you have, so it will be evaluated inside the expressions. So inside the expression is what you need to understand. First, it will evaluate all the operands. What is the meaning of operand? Suppose if I consider my expression as a is equal to a plus b, here a, b. So this is what I will call it as a operands. This is what I will call it as a operands. First, this will be evaluated. How? Please understand. Perform any implicit conversion. It's very important that all of you that should remember this word, implicit conversion. What is implicit conversion? Automatically the system is converting from one data type of the value to another data type. You are not doing anything. So that is what we call it as a implicit conversion. First it will evaluate, then it will convert, if it is necessary. So after the conversion, what will happen? Compute its result based on the operator. This is where the picture of precedence will come. The operator precedence will come. Based on the priority of the operator, the expressions will be evaluated. The expressions will be evaluated. Fine. After evaluating, what will happen? Replace the sub-expressions with the computed results. So it will evaluate, after the evaluation of the expression, it will replace the values. It will replace the values in the sub-expressions. I have the main expression. Inside the main expressions, I will have sub-expressions. It will replace the result in the sub-expressions. I will be repeating this step until I get the final result. This is how the evaluation will happen. The same thing like how you perform the mathematical calculation, the same thing will happen here. So you don't have to worry how exactly it is happening, but if you know the steps, it will be very easy for you to write your logic whenever you are writing the program. That is the main reason that we are discussing this. Moving on to the next one, evaluation in the relational expression. Suppose if I have the relational expression, if I have the relational operator in my expression, I will call that as a relational expression. Then how exactly the evaluation will happen? Since All the operators has got the same priority, same precedence. So evaluation will happen from this side, but the result will be in the form of true or false. The result will be in the form of true or false is what you have to remember when it comes to the evaluation of relational expression. That's a point that you should remember. All the comparison operators in Python has got the same priority. That's very important that you should make a note of it. So all the operators has got the same priority, which is lower than the arithmetic operations. When it comes to the precedence, relational operators priority is lower than the arithmetic operators is what you have to remember. This is all about the relational expressions. How do we evaluate when it comes to the logical expression? Let's see that. So I have logical operators, that is what in my expression, then I will call that as a logical expression. How exactly I'll be dealing with this? The priority of this operators, whatever I have in the logical operator, is different. It is not like how we have in the relational operators. Let us understand the priority. So guys, the precedence is what I will call it as a priority. Priority of logical operator among themselves is, first priority is for not, and then and, the last one is or. Remember, first priority is for not, and then and then or. This is how the priority goes among this logical operators. Then how do I write an expression? Suppose if I have all these three. So let's take a look. Suppose if I have an expression that is A or B and not C. How do I write an expression for this? This is an example, right? First, this will be evaluated. This is one, right? So second expression is this, and third one is this. So this is how the evaluation will happen. This is what you have to remember when it comes to the concept of logical expressions. How do you evaluate the logical expressions? What is the next concept that I have? Typecasting. What is typecasting? Typecasting in the sense I will be changing the data from one type to another type. So forcefully I will be changing the data from one type to another type. That is what I will call it as a typecasting. Then what is the syntax of this typecasting? So how do we do this typecasting? Please understand. So guys, we have to write the data type. I want to write the data type. So to which type you wanted to convert, so that data type you have to write here, and then you have to write your expression here. So whatever you write, that expression will be converted into this type. This data type is what you need to understand. So we have two types of typecasting. One is implicit, another one is explicit. One is implicit, another one is explicit. Automatically if it is converted, then we call it as a implicit. Suppose if you are converting, then we call that as a explicit. That is what you have to remember. If you are doing it, so that is what I will call it as explicit. That is what we have mentioned it as user defined conversion. That forces an expression to be on specific type. Why? How you want it, so you are converting that into that particular type. So that is very important. So that's all about the typecasting. So what is the next one that I have? Working with some of the standard modules. Standard modules in the sense what? What is the meaning of standard modules? Some of the functions are predefined and it is stored in some place. That is what I will call it as a modules. It is a predefined functions is what I can say. So how do we deal with that? So guys, let's start with math module. Let's start with math module. We have plenty number of modules. In fact, the Python has got rich library files. So let me start with math module. If you want to use any of the functions which is related to the math, so I have to use import math. What is this import math, sir? Import is a keyword. Math is the name of the module. Math is the name of the module. By importing this statement, by adding this statement in my program, I can use any of the mathematical functions. But remember, if I want to use the complex number, I'll not have that in the math module. That is what you have to remember. Then how many math functions do I have, sir, if I use this math module? So let me discuss some of the important mathematical functions that I have in this math module. So what is that? So I have something called ceil. I have something called ceil. So what is ceil? Yes, C-E-I-L. Ceil. Why do we use this function? Can you all tell me why do we use this function? So guys, I use this function to round up the values. I use this function to round up the values. For example, how do I use this function? Please look here, math. How do I use it? Math.ceil. Math.ceil, whatever the value that you pass here, 10.35. So it will round up. So what will be my result? So it will be 11. It will be 11. If you just write like this, if you print the x value, it should be 11. So it will round up the value. So what is the next one that you have? You have square root. So if you want to find out the square root of any given number, how do you use it? So you have to write math.sqrt. So why are you writing this math, sir? This is a function, right? This is a function that you have. In which module that you have this function? That is what you have to specify. So I have this function only in the math, right? Then why do I have to call this one, sir? Suppose some of the functions with the same name of ceil, I will have in different modules at that particular point of time. So it will be a confusion for a Python to call the specific function which you want. To avoid such confusion, to avoid such naming conventional problems, so we use the name of the module, and then what I have, the function which is inside this module, we use the name of this function. That is the best way of writing the code. So that is the reason that you have to understand. So what is that? I have floor. So I have floor. Why do I have floor? So what is the reason? So it is opposite to the ceil. So it is round up. Floor will round down the value. That is what you have to understand. Then I have log. If I want to calculate the log, so I will be using the same syntax, math.log. I'll be using the same syntax, that is math.log, and then I'll be giving the number and base. So that will be calculating the log value of the given number. And then I have some more functions like power and then sine. I can also calculate the sine value, math.sine, and math.cos, math.tan. So like this, I have many functions. So please explore one by one when you are free. These are the different math functions that I have, which is stored in math library. So you can use it so in your program by importing the statement, that is import math. That is import math. So moving on to the next one. So using random module. So guys, if I want to use a random module, please remember I have to write import random. I have to write import random. Why do I use this random module? Why should I have this? So this module will help me to generate the random numbers. I have different functions which is stored inside this module. Let me discuss that one by one. So these are the functions that will help me to generate the random numbers. The first function will help me to generate the random numbers. Please observe the speciality of second function. So in this second function, I have given a comma b. So what is the meaning of a comma b? Please understand, I can give the range, for example 100 comma 1 comma 100. So between these number, it will help me to generate some random numbers. So where here you cannot give the range, but here you can give the range. That is the speciality of this function. So but please understand, I have something called rand range. So please understand, I have three parameters. What is the use of these three parameters? I can give the start value, that is I can give 1, and I can give the stop value, that is 100. Step, in the sense what should be the difference from one number to another number is what you can specify here. That is the meaning of step. This is the beauty of random module. So what is the next one that I have? I have statistics modules. Here, if I want to import the statistics module, I have to use a statement called import statistics. I have to give the statement called import statistics in my program. Suppose if I import, what will be the use of this? What is the different functions that I have? So I can calculate mean, median, and mode. I can calculate mean, median, mode. So how do I do that? So guys, statistics.mean, statistics.median, and statistics.mode. So guys, this is how I will be calling this functions, which will help me to use these statistics functions in my program. So this is what you have to understand. So guys, by this I have come to an end of the session. Hope I have given enough knowledge. So thank you very much. Stay healthy, stay safe, take care of your family, love your parents. Thank you. Bye bye.